Hi guys, this is I'm Stuck, and in this video we'll be looking at the whole of AS Pure Chapter 1, which is Algebraic Expressions, and we'll be covering this in under 30 minutes. So you'll find that a lot of this is a lot of crossover from GCSE, but there'll be timestamps in the description if you want to skip along to certain sections of the video. But let's get started. For these first sets of questions, it says expand and simplify the following. So for this first one, it says x brackets x plus 4. So what we want to do, we want to times everything which is inside the bracket, so the x plus 4, by everything in front of the bracket, so the x. So x times x is going to be x squared, and then x times 4 is going to be plus 4x. And that's the answer. The next one, we've got 7 brackets x minus 3 plus 5 brackets x plus 2 minus 5 brackets x minus 2. So what we want to do here, we want to expand it, then we're going to add it together and simplify it. So for this first one, we've got 7 times x, which is going to be 7x. Then we've got 7 times minus 3, which is going to be minus 21. Then we've got plus, and then 5x, which is going to be there. And then 5 times 2, which is going to be plus 10. Then we've got minus, and then 5 times x, which is 5x, and then 5 times minus 2, which is going to be minus 10. Now we want to simplify this out. So here you can see that we can add the x's first. So we've got 7x plus 5x minus 5x. Now you see that these 5x's cancel, so this actually equals 7x. And then we can do all of the numbers at the end here. So we've got minus 21 plus 10, and then minus 10, which is going to be plus 10 again. So it's going to be minus 21 plus 10 plus 10, which equals minus 1. And if you add that together, you get 7x minus 1. And that's the answer. So for these next set, it says expand and simplify, if necessary, the following expressions. So for part A, we've got 2 lots of brackets. So what we want to do here, we want to times everything in the brackets by everything in the other bracket. So what you want to do here, you want to make sure that you times everything by everything. And there are different methods for this, such as FOIL, but I like to use my own method called the smiley face method. And what you do here, so let's just draw it out quickly. And here, so you do a little line across from x to x. So that's going to be x squared when you times them together. Then you do 1 from 5 to 2, which is going to be 10 when you times them together. Then 5 to x, which is 5x. And then 2 to x, which is going to be 2x. And now we add everything which we've just times together. So we've got x squared plus 5x plus 2x plus 10. Now this is going to equal, when you simplify it out, x squared plus 7x plus 10. And that's your answer. Right, so the next one's a bit more complicated because we've got the coefficient of 2 in front of the x in the first bracket, but it's the same method, so we'll just do that quickly. So let's draw it out again. This one, right. So you've got 2x times x, which is going to be 2x squared. Then we've got 9 times 1, which is 9. 9 to x is 9x. And 2x times 1 is 2x, which equals 2x squared plus 9x plus 2x plus 9. Simplify that out, is 2x squared plus 11x plus 9. Right, and the next one now, instead of having 2 brackets, it's got a squared sign. So basically this means that it's just going to be x plus 6 and then times by x plus 6 again. So you can just draw it out in 2 brackets. Now what you're going to do, you're going to do the same method. So you've got x squared, and then you've got 36 when you times 6 by 6. 6 times x is going to be 6x, and then 6 times x is going to be 6x again. So what you want to do is x squared plus 6x plus 6x plus 36. And then you simplify that out. So you get x squared plus 12x plus 36. And that's your answer there. So for these next ones, it's the same as expanding and simplifying. But here we've got 3 brackets instead of the 2 brackets. So what we want to do, we want to do the same as normal, but we've just got this extra one at the end. So first of all, if we just take the x plus 4 and then x times 2, and we just do expand this bit here. So we do the x squared here, plus 8 here, plus 4x here, plus 2x here. So we simplify this out here. So we've got x squared plus 6x plus 8. Now, with this bit, we want to times this by the x plus 1. So now, what I want to do here, we want to make sure that we're timesing everything in this x squared plus 6x plus 8 by everything in this one here. So let's do the x squared plus 6x plus 8 times by x first. So we're doing x squared times x, which is going to be x cubed, 6x times x, which is x squared, 8 times x, which is 8x. And then we'll do the same with the 1 times x squared plus 6x plus 8. So we get 1 times 8, which is 8. 1 times 6x, 6x. And 1 times x squared, x squared. Now let's add this all together. So we've got x cubed plus 6x squared plus x squared plus 8x plus 6x plus 8. It's quite long-winded, but we do x cubed, then 7x squared. So we simplified this bit here, so we can just cross them off as we go. And then we do 8x plus 6x, which is 14x, and then plus 8. And we've done everything there. And that's the final answer there. So for this next one then, it's the same as before, but we've just got the 2x instead of the x in the first bracket. So let's still start again with 2x plus 1 times by x plus 5, and we'll expand that. So you get 2x squared plus 5, and then x here, and then 10x. So we've got 2x squared plus 11x plus 5. And you want to do the same, and we're going to times this by x plus 2. So we'll do the same here. So we've got 2x squared times x, which is 2x cubed. And we've got 11x times x, which is 11x squared. And we've got 5 times x, which is 5x. And then we'll do 2 times 5, which is 10. And then 2 times 11, which is 11x, which is 22x. And then 2 times 2x squared, which is 4x squared. Now let's add this all together and then simplify it. So we've got 2x cubed plus 11x squared plus 4x squared plus 22x plus 5x plus 10. You can also cross these ones off as you go, just to make sure you haven't forgotten any of them. I should be doing that, just makes it a little bit easier. So now we do 2x cubed, which is 2x cubed, plus, and then 11x squared plus 4x squared, which is going to be 15x squared. And then 22x plus 5x, which is going to be 27x, and then plus 10. And that's your final answer there. Right, so if you want to look at the next part here. So for these next ones, we're going to still expand and simplify them, but we've now got surds in the brackets instead of normal numbers. So right, we want to first now do, let's just bring it down here. So we've got the 2 minus root 2 times 3 minus root 5. So let's approach this as in the same way. So we've got 2 times 3, which is going to be 6. Then we've got minus root 2 times minus root 5. So that's going to make a positive number because 2 negatives times together is a positive. So we've got minus 2 to minus root 5, which is going to be plus root 10. Now we've got 3 times minus root 2, which is going to be minus root 3 root 2. Sorry, minus 3 root 2. Then we've got 2 times minus root 5, which is going to be minus 2 root 5. Now we're going to simplify this out here. So can root 10 be simplified? No. Can root 2 be simplified? No. And can root 5 be simplified? No. That's our first thing we've established. So let's start off with 6. And we've got minus 3 root 2 minus 2 root 5 plus root 10. And that's your answer. So for this next one, we've got 6 minus root 11 times 3 plus root 11. So let's do the same here. So we got in our brackets here. And let's times these out. So we've got 6 times 3, which is 18. And then minus root 11 times root 11. So a root times a root is going to make the whole number again. So it's going to be minus 11. And we've got minus root 11 times 3, which is minus 3 root 11. And then we've got 6 times root 11, which is going to be 6 root 11. Right, and let's add this all out together. So we've got this equals 18 plus 6 root 11 minus 3 root 11 minus 11. Right, so let's simplify this middle area here now. So we've got 6 root 11 minus 3 root 11, which is going to be 3 root 11. And then we've got this on the outer bits, we've got 18 minus 11, which is going to be 7. So we can do 7 plus 3 root 11, and that's your answer there. Right, so for this next one here, we're going to be looking at rationalising the denominators and simplifying the following. So for question A, we've got 4 over 2 minus root 3. So the way we want to rationalise this denominator, we want to get rid of this minus root 3 of the bottom. So basically, if there's going to be a root 3 on the bottom, the denominator is not rationalised. So the way to do this, we actually times both the top and the bottom by 2, and then we change the sign here, so it's going to be 2 plus root 3. So we times that one by 2 plus root 3, and then this times by 2 root 3. That's actually going to get rid of this minus root 3 on the bottom. So let's try it out. So we've got 4, then times 2 plus root 3 over 2 minus root 3 times by 2 plus root 3. So let's expand this top bit here. So that gets us 8 plus 4 root 3. And then this bottom one here, we're going to put in a little brackets here, and we're going to expand it. Right, so 2 times 2 is 4. Minus 3 times minus root 3 times root 3 is going to be minus 3. And then minus root 3 times 2 is going to be minus 2 root 3. And then 2 times root 3 is going to be 2 root 3. So as you see here, when we're adding this together, this minus 2 root 3 and then plus this 2 root 3 actually will cancel each other out here. So we don't even need to really put that out there. So we've got here then 4 minus 3, which equals 1. So the answer is going to be 8 plus 4 root 3 over 1. And that's it. As you see, we've rationalised the denominator now because the denominator is not containing a surd. Now let's rationalise this bottom one here. So what we want to do here, we want to get rid of this bracket sin squared. So we're going to actually times it out to begin with. So we've got 1 over, and then 3 minus root 2, 3 minus root 2. And let's expand this now. So we've got 9 here. We've got 2 here, minus 3 root 2 here, and then minus 3 root 2 here. So now we want to add this all out and simplify it. So we've got 11 and then minus 3 root 2 minus 3 root 2, which is going to be minus 6 root 2. And that's the denominator there. Now, what you're going to want to do the same as what we did on the top one. So we're going to times this top bit here by 11 and then plus 6 root 2. And then times the bottom one now by 11 plus 6 root 2. So let's expand the denominator here. So we've got 11 minus 6 root 2 times by 11 plus 6 root 2. Right. So 11 times 11, 121. Then we've got minus 6 root 2 times plus 6 root 2, which is going to be, so what we're going to do, we're going to times out minus 6 by 6, which is minus 36. And then we've got this with the root 2. So what we're going to do here, we're going to do root 2 times root 2, which is going to be 2. So it's going to be minus 36 times 2, which equals minus 72. And then we're going to do 11 times minus 6 root 2, which is going to be 60 minus 66 root 2. And then we've got 11 times plus 6 root 2, which is going to be 66 root 2. So these bits again will cancel, so we don't need to add them. And then we've got 121 minus 72. So 121 minus 72. We get the calculator out there. And that equals 49. So that's the denominator added there. Now it's on the top, we're lucky now, it's just 1 and then times everything. So what the actual final answer is going to be, let's do it in a different color, it's going to be 11 plus 6 root 2, so that's the numerator, all over 49. And there we go, we've rationalized the denominators. So for this next one, it says simplify these expressions. So these are all going to be indices rules. So what we have for part A is y to the power of 7 times y to the power of 3. So what we do with indices when we times them together is we actually just add the powers together. So it's going to be y to the power of 7, which is going to be the power of 7 times the power of 3, which is going to be actually plus root 3. So it's 7 plus 3. So the actual power is going to be 10. So we just do y to the power of 10. The next one, we've got 2g to the power of 4 times 4g to the 2. Right, so what we do, let's just times these 2 by 4 together. So we've got 2 times 4, which is going to be 8. And then we've got g to the power of 4 times g to the power of 2. So that's going to be 4 plus 2, which is 6. So it's going to be 8g to the power of 6. So for the next one, it's actually a divide. So for the divide, we do the opposite. We take them away. So first of all, let's do 4 divided by 2. So 4 over 2 equals 2. And then h to the power of 3 divided by h to the power of 2 is going to be h to the power of 1. So it's going to be 2h to the power of 1, which equals 2h. Now for the next one, we've got x to the power of 7 plus x to the power of 3 all over x to the power of 2. So the best way to do this is actually split these up into two fractions. So if we do x to the power of 7 over x to the power of 2, and then plus x to the power of 3 over x to the power of 2, then we can actually now simplify this out. So we've got x to the power of 7 divided by x to the power of 2, which is going to be x to the power of 5, and we've got plus x to the power of 3 over x to the power of 2, and that's going to be x to the power of 1, which is just x. So it's going to be x to the power of 5 plus x, and that's your answer. So for these next ones, we're going to do more indices rules. So for this next one here, it says 2 to the power of 3 all to the power of 3. So we do 2 times 2 times 2, which equals 8. So what we do here then is that with the power inside, we times that by the power on the outside. So it's just going to be 3 times 3, which is going to be to the power of 9. So the final answer is going to be 8 to the power of 9. Now for this next one, we've got 7a to the power of 4 times 2a squared to the power of 3. So what we're going to do, we're going to first expand this bracket bit. So it's going to be 2 to the power of 3, which is going to be 8. And then it's going to be a squared times to the power of 3, which is going to be a to the power of 6. So we're going to do 8a to the power of 6. I'm going to times this by 7a to the power of 4. So 8 times 7 is going to be 42. So 8 times 7 is going to be 42. And a to the power of 6 times a to the power of 4 is going to be a to the power of 10. So the final answer is 42a to the power of 10. So for this question, we've got a negative fractional power. So what we do with negative powers is we do the reciprocal. So the reciprocal here is, for example, if you've got number 2, the reciprocal would be a half. If you've got number 4, the reciprocal would be a quarter. And if you've got number 150, for example, the reciprocal would be 1 over 150. So the normal number now just becomes the denominator. Now, with a fractional power, the denominator is going to be what you root the number by. So, for example, if you've got 4 to the power of a half, that's going to be the same as root 4, which equals 2. Or if you've got 8 to the power of a third, that's going to be the same as the cube root of 8, which equals 2. For example, if we had 8 to the power of 2/3, what we're going to do is we're going to cube root it first, which is going to be 2, and then we've still got this to the power of 2 on the top here. So it's going to be 4. So that's how you use fractional powers. Now, for this question then, we're going to do 64. So we're going to put that in reciprocal form first. So it's going to be 1 over 64. Then we've got this x to the power of 4. Now remember the powers, we're going to times the power by the thing. So we're actually going to get, let's just do the negative. So we get x to the minus 4 for now. And then that's all going to be to the power of a half. So now let's do this 1 over 64. So we've got 1 over 64, and then we're going to square root this number on the bottom. So it's going to be 1 over 8. And then we're going to times the power. So we've got x to the minus 4, and we're going to times that by a half. So that's actually going to be to the minus 2. So that is your final answer there. So for this next thing, we're going to be looking at factorising. So factorising is where you split up something into 2 or more different things which times to make the original number. So for this first one, we've got 4x plus 2. Now what we can do here is that we know that both the terms are divisible by 2, so we can put 2 on the outside. Now, to determine what's going to be inside the brackets, it's going to be what is times by 2 to make 4x, and what's times by 2 to make 2. So what is times by 2 to make 4x? Well, that's going to be 2x. And what's times by 2 to make 2? And that's going to be 1. So the final answer there is going to be 2 brackets 2x plus 1. Now that is fully simplified. So for the next one, we've got 5x squared plus 10x. So we know that 5 and x can be taken out, both of these things. So let's put 5x on the outside. And then we're going to have what makes 5x squared from 5x is going to be times by x. And what makes 10x from 5x, and that's going to be plus 2. So basically this method is just the reverse of expanding brackets. Now for this next one, we've got x squared plus 5x plus 6. Now with these 3 terms, we're going to actually have to put it into 2 brackets. So what we're going to do, we're going to open up 2 brackets here. And what happens with an x squared, we're going to want to have x in both of these brackets because we know that it's going to have to be times to make x squared. Now, for the rest of it, what you want to do is you want to find, for the x bit, you want to find 2 numbers which are going to plus together to make the 5 and also going to times together to make 6. So for this one, we've got 3 and 2. So you want to plus 3 there, plus 2. Now, as you can see, it's going to times together to make 6, and then 3 plus 2 is going to times together to make 5. That's the easiest way of finding out which goes in these brackets. Now, for this next one, we've got 2x plus 5x plus 2. So we know that in one of these brackets is going to be a 2x, and the other one of the brackets is going to be x. And we're going to want to times something together to make the 2. So the only thing which works here is 2 and 1. However, with this 2x, something is going to have to be times twice to plus together to make the 5. So if we put that number on the outside, so if you think about the different options we've got 1 and 2, and those are the only factors which are going to times together to make 2. So we're going to want to times one of these numbers by 2, and then we're going to want to plus that to one of the numbers to then make the 5, if that makes sense. So if we put the 2 in this second bracket, and we put the 1 in this one, as you can see, when you are going to expand this, so let's expand it now, we've got 2x squared, and then 2, and then x, and then 4x here. What you're going to find is that you get 2x squared plus 5x plus 2. And that's going to prove what we've just done there. But we don't actually need that in our answer. That's just to double check you've done it correctly. So as you see, we've put the 2 on this one because the 2x is going to be needed to times this one to make the 5. And then you've also got the x there. So 4x plus 1x is going to make 5. Now that's it for this video. If you've got any questions about anything, just drop a comment down below and I'll try and help you out. And thanks for watching.